Speed.
Sound.
Speed, soon, sound back.
Okay, C19, take one.
Okay, so how do people become stateless?
Well, the definition of statelessness is a stateless person is a person who is not a national under any state or under the operations of its law, basically. So it's a person who is not a citizen of any country. And you could be stateless in a whole number of ways. One way is where the state decides to revoke citizenship from you, essentially takes away your nationality. In other ways, you could be born stateless. In other words, the state does not recognize you to have been born and therefore does not provide you citizenship. And this often happens in a myriad of ways. Some of that relates to gender discrimination, where, for instance, a mother may not be able to give her nationality or her citizenship to her child. Sometimes it only goes to the father, and the father may not be willing to or is not in a position to do so. There could be ways in which people who are born in a different country and parents are not from that country, and the child born in such a country could be stateless. So there are many ways in which statelessness can happen. It's an area that is further developing, as in sense there are, I think, almost 40 to 50% of the stateless populations around the world is in Asia Pacific. And part of that is due to gaps in legislation, primarily. But there are two kinds of statelessness. There is the de jure statelessness, which is what I just referred to with regard to the fact that a state does not provide you nationality. The other one is de facto statelessness. In other words, even though you might have a nationality, the protections that the state needs to provide for you does not exist, or you're not being given those protections, or you've been discriminated against. That would what we would call a de facto statelessness. And that's a bigger problem than the first one.
Okay, second time. How do people become stateless?
A stateless person can be defined as a person who does not have a nationality, or a person where a state does not provide nationality under its operation of its law, who is not a national under a state. There are various ways in which a person can become stateless. The state, like in the case of Rohingya, where a state can declare under its legislation and take away rights of citizenship from a particular group of people, and that particular group of people do not have a nationality in that particular state anymore, and they do not have a nationality anywhere else. And I think that's crucial to remember. It's not just taking one nationality, but the person does not have a right to nationality anywhere else either. People could become stateless even through birth. Gender discrimination is a very classic example. Many countries do not allow women to give their nationality to the children. It always goes down to the father. So there might be situations where a mother is unable to provide citizenship or nationality to their children, and the father may not be able to do so either. In many cases where both the parents are in a different country and the child is born in that country, that child might be stateless because the country in which the parents are from refuses to recognize it, and the country where the child was born perhaps does not recognize it either. So there are various ways in that can happen, but I'm just referring to two aspects of statelessness. One is the one that I just referred to is what we call de jure statelessness, which is about gaps in the legal frameworks. The second one is what I would call what is called de facto statelessness, which is protections and rights that accrue from being a citizen are not being provided. So in a sense, the reason why what you get as a citizen of a particular state, if that does not accrue to you, then that person would be called a de facto stateless person as well.
Okay, what are the vulnerabilities of stateless people?
The classical aspect is the inability of having any protections and access to services and rights under the state. Every state provides citizenship with a number of rights. Those rights are denied. Access to education, access to health, access to basic human rights, those which are defined in constitutions, are not given to those who are considered stateless. In other words, they are considered as aliens, people who do not belong to that particular state. That is the fundamental bit. So as a child who is growing and who is stateless, so the child may not have access to education. The child might have difficulty going to